On a sunny Saturday afternoon in the quiet market town of Ashby-on-the-Wold, Oliver found himself clutching a plate of charred sausages. The smell of burnt meat hung heavy in the air, mingling with the scent of summer grass and spilled beer. He was manning the barbecue at a friend's garden party, desperately trying to salvage the last few hot dogs from the grill, when a sharp, unmistakable laugh sliced through the chatter behind him. It was Harriet's laugh, the kind that was a little too high-pitched, practiced, and begging for attention. She sat at the picnic table with her usual crowd, that tight-knit gang of friends who always regarded Oliver like an awkward piece of furniture nobody quite knew what to do with. Their eyes flicked toward him now and then, like he was some odd relic cluttering up their perfect picture. Then he heard it, his name. He froze mid-scrape, the metal tongs hovering over the grill. "Honestly, Oliver's so sweet," Harriet was saying, her voice dripping with an irritating mix of fake warmth and mockery. "He brought me flowers last week, just because. And when I was under the weather, he even made me soup. But you know what? Josh, my best mate, treats me way better than Oliver ever could." Laughter erupted from the table, but this wasn't normal laughter. It was the kind that cuts, that says, "We all know the score, don't we?" Oliver didn't turn around. He didn't drop the tongs. Instead, he stared down at the sad, blackened sausages on his plate and, strangely, a calm settled over him. He even cracked a half-smile. For months, he'd been painted as the jealous boyfriend, the controlling one who couldn't handle Harriet's close friendship with Josh. But hearing her say it aloud, hearing the cruel laughter that followed, it was like a light bulb flicked on. The problem wasn't jealousy. The problem was that he was competing in a game he'd never agreed to play. And his rival was the man who'd practically moved into their flat. Oliver took a deep breath, plated the last of the edible sausages, and turned to face the table, his smile perfectly neutral. "Josh sounds like a great guy," he said evenly. The laughter died instantly. Harriet's friends exchanged nervous glances. Harriet's face flushed, but she quickly recovered. "He is," she said defensively. "He's just a good friend that I know," Oliver replied, grabbing a bottle of sparkling water from the cooler. "I guess I've been a bit insecure. You two have a special connection. I shouldn't get in the way." The look on Harriet's face was a cocktail of shock and triumph. She thought she'd won. She thought he'd folded, accepted his place as second best. What she didn't realize was that Oliver wasn't surrendering. He was accepting the terms of a war she had just declared, and he had no intention of losing. Over the next few weeks, Oliver transformed into the most supportive boyfriend Ashby had ever seen. He encouraged Harriet to hang out with Josh, waved them off with enthusiastic "have fun," and even said things like, "Tell him I said hi" during their dinner plans. When Josh texted Harriet mid-movie night, Oliver paused the film and said, "You should get that, it might be important." All part of the plan. Oliver knew Josh. He'd caught the way Josh looked at Harriet when he thought nobody was watching. Not like a friend, but like a predator eyeing his prey. Harriet loved the attention, but also cherished the safety net Oliver provided. The steady boyfriend footing half the bills, the dependable rock. She wanted validation from Josh without risking anything. Oliver's strategy? Give Josh the opening he was waiting for, remove the risk, and make sure when Josh made his move, everyone was watching. There was one event perfect for this. The town's annual Halloween bash, the biggest party of the year. Oliver was already setting the stage. As he flipped another sausage, this time mercifully less burnt, he thought, game on. The Halloween party in Ashby-on-the-Wold was legendary. An annual spectacle hosted by Sarah and Tom in their sprawling, dimly lit cottage on the edge of town. This year, the entire village seemed to be buzzing with excitement, costumes planned, and drinks pre-ordered. Oliver arrived early, dressed in an understated but classic vampire ensemble. A sleek black shirt, tailored trousers, and a cloak that swirled just enough to feel theatrical but not ridiculous. His pale makeup gave him a ghostly allure, and a single silver pendant glinted against the dark fabric. He felt like a shadow lurking on the edges of the night, ready to watch and wait. Harriet emerged from the back of the house wearing a white, figure-hugging dress that shimmered faintly under the porch light. A delicate halo perched atop her glossy chestnut curls, tilted just so, giving her the ethereal look of an angel fallen straight from some celestial runway. Her silver heels clicked softly on the wooden floor, and a thin chain bracelet caught the light with every graceful movement. She looked radiant, innocent even, but Oliver knew better. Beside her stood Josh, dressed head to toe as a devil, crimson shirt, black trousers, a wickedly pointed tail, and a set of red horns perched atop his messy blonde hair. His smirk was devilish too, as if he already knew the mischief he intended. Oliver's lips twitched into a wry smile. Angel and devil, he mused. Perfect. Harriet shot him a relieved smile as if she dodged a bullet when he said, I'll go as a vampire. No big deal. Little did she know, this vampire was about to drain more than just the life out of the party. The first hour was a study in restraint. Oliver played the part of the supportive boyfriend with practiced ease. He fetched Harriet's drinks, complimented her on the sparkle of her halo, and even laughed at her jokes. When she slipped away to mingle with Josh, Oliver simply let her go, like a dog off its leash, watching with a cool detachment. Every time he caught Josh's glass emptying, he was there with a refill. A pint, a shot, a cheeky cocktail. Come on, mate, you're not keeping up, he'd joke, passing over another drink with a friendly pat on the back. Josh lapped it up, mistaking Oliver's generosity for camaraderie. The more he drank, the louder and more confident he became, his ego ballooning with each sip. By 11 p.m., Josh was exactly where Oliver wanted him. Loud, sloppy, and completely oblivious to the trap tightening around him. The room glittered with fairy lights, laughter, and the hum of music. Harriet and Josh were inseparable, working the crowd like a mismatched but oddly charming duo. Oliver stood near a circle of friends, casually chatting but keeping them positioned so he had a clear view of the devil and angel. Then, with a nod from Tom, the host who was in on the plan, a photographer pretending to snap candid shots moved closer. Oliver felt a thrill of anticipation as Josh leaned toward Harriet, his hand resting on her back. She smiled, unaware of the danger, or maybe she was just playing along. Josh whispered something in her ear, and for a moment, her smile faltered. Then, with the confidence of a man who thought the night belonged to him, Josh went for it at a drunken, full-on, sloppy kiss attempt right in the middle of the crowded living room. Flash! The photographer caught the moment twice, the room's atmosphere shifting so fast it felt like the lights had been dimmed and the music cut out all at once. Harriet shoved Josh back hard, her angelic face twisting into pure horror and humiliation. Josh stumbled, looking like a dog caught sneaking on the sofa. The laughter died. Conversations stopped. Everyone's eyes were on them. Harriet's eyes scanned the room, frantic, then landed on Oliver. He was standing with his back to her, calm as ever. Her expression turned from shock to rage in seconds. She stormed over, grabbing his arm. Did you see that? She hissed. Oliver turned slowly, feigning confusion. See what? He asked, voice steady, loud enough for the circle around them. Was just talking to Mike. Josh just tried to kiss me. In front of everyone, she spat. Oliver glanced at Josh, now being awkwardly ushered away by a friend, then back at Harriet. Wow, that's crazy. Is he drunk? Of course he's drunk. You were supposed to be with me. Where were you? Her voice cracked. Oliver's tone dropped, deliberate and clear. I was giving you space. You've been with him all night. I didn't want to be the jealous boyfriend. Her face crumpled. No comeback. She tried to drag him out of the party, but he stood firm. I'm not leaving, he said quietly. Tom and Sarah are my friends. I'm not letting this ruin their night. Harriet's glare was full of disbelief before she spun away, storming out alone. Oliver stayed, chatting with friends, acting normal, while whispers followed him. People asked if he was okay. Looks like Harriet's got some things to sort out, he said with a shrug. As he left hours later, his phone buzzed relentlessly. Texts from Harriet, equal parts apologies for Josh and accusations against him. But Oliver didn't read a word. Back at their flat, Harriet sat in the dark, still in her angel costume, halo askew. She jumped up when he walked in. We need to talk, she said. Okay, he replied, turning on the light. Let's talk. Harriet didn't hold back. Her voice was sharp, trembling with a mix of anger and desperation. It's all Josh's fault. He's a disgusting pig. He took advantage of our friendship. He knew I wasn't interested, but he crossed the line anyway. Oliver listened, arms crossed, watching the storm swirl around her. But you, she spat, you weren't there. You let him get drunk. You were distant all night. You abandoned me. He held her gaze, calm and steady. I let you have the space you kept asking for. You spent the entire evening with him. And when he crossed the line, where were you? Where was your loyalty? Her face drained of color. She looked like she'd been slapped. That was just a joke, she stammered, voice barely above a whisper. Oliver picked up a letter from the kitchen counter. An official-looking envelope from their landlord. I overheard you at that barbecue a month ago, he said softly. When you told your friends Josh treats you better than I ever will. When they laughed. It didn't sound like a joke. It sounded like the truth. Harriet's mouth opened and closed. Unable to find words, I gave you everything you said you wanted. Oliver continued. All the space, all the time with him, no jealousy from me. I wanted you to have the full Josh experience. Now you have it. He paused, letting the silence stretch. How does that better treatment feel? She was speechless, staring at him like a ghost. The proposal story I told Tom, Oliver said, the photographer at the party, the whole setup. I needed everyone to see what I already knew. Josh isn't your friend. He's a guy waiting to steal his mate's girlfriend. And you? You're the girl who loves the attention so much. You're willing to humiliate your boyfriend to get it. He tossed the lease renewal letter onto the coffee table in front of her. Our lease ends in 60 days. I've told the landlord I'm not renewing. I've already found a new place. Just for me. So, you've got 2 months to figure out where you're going to live. Maybe Josh has a spare room. You two are so close. After all. Harriet's voice was barely a whisper. You planned this. All of it. Oliver shook his head. No, you planned on having a boyfriend to pay the bills and a best mate to give you all the attention. You just never thought those two worlds would collide. Now they have. He walked toward the bedroom and closed the door, leaving Harriet alone in the living room with the ruins of her perfect little setup. The silence behind the door was more satisfying than any argument could have been. But just as Oliver was about to unwind, his phone buzzed with a new message. An anonymous sender with a single line. Asterisk, you think this is over? Wait until you see what's been hiding in the shadows. Asterisk. Oliver stared at the screen, a chill crawling down his spine. The war wasn't finished yet. 2 weeks later, Oliver sat alone in his new flat on the outskirts of Ashby, the soft hum of city life filtering through the open window. The sleek lines of his minimalist furniture contrasted sharply with the chaos he'd left behind. A silent testament to fresh starts and closed chapters. He was nursing a cup of black coffee, the bitter taste grounding him, when his phone buzzed again. A message popped up from an unknown number. Asterisk, you think you've won? Harriet's not done yet. There's more beneath the surface than you realize. Asterisk. Oliver frowned, his fingers hovering over the screen. Was this a warning? A threat? Or just the remnants of a battle far from over? His thoughts drifted back to Harriet, the way she looked that night, the broken angel in a too bright white dress, her halo crooked, eyes burning with something fierce and unreadable. She'd lost everything. The friendship circle, Josh gone dark, and now, uprooted from the life she'd boasted about. Yet here was a message suggesting she still had cards to play. A sudden knock at the door startled him. He opened it to find a familiar face. Tom, the party host, holding a small envelope. Got this for you earlier, Tom said quietly, stepping inside. Found it tucked behind a loose floorboard at the party house. Thought you should see it. Oliver took the envelope, his pulse quickening. Inside was a collection of photos, not just from the Halloween party but from months before. Pictures of Harriet and Josh, but also of Harriet meeting secretly with another man, someone Oliver didn't recognize. And then a folded note, scrawled in Harriet's handwriting. Asterisk, they don't know the truth. Not yet. Asterisk. Tom's voice was low. Looks like there's more to this story. I think Harriet's been playing a deeper game all along. Oliver's mind raced. Had he been the pawn all along? Was the war far from over? Outside, the autumn wind picked up, rattling the windows like a sinister whisper. Oliver folded the photos carefully, feeling the weight of a new mystery settling over him. The next move was hers, but Oliver knew one thing for certain. This wasn't just about jealousy or betrayal anymore. It was about secrets, lies, and a truth that could shatter everything. And it was waiting to be uncovered. The dim light of dawn crept through the blinds as Oliver sat at his kitchen table. The envelope and photos spread before him like pieces of a puzzle he hadn't asked to solve. Each image whispered secrets. Harriet's stolen moments, furtive glances, and a stranger whose face was half hidden in shadows. The note, scrawled in hurried, nervous handwriting, felt like a challenge daring him to dig deeper. He ran a hand through his hair, the weight of uncertainty pressing down. This wasn't just about a jealous boyfriend or a messy breakup anymore. There was something darker buried beneath the surface, something Harriet had kept hidden. His phone buzzed again. A message from Tom. *, meet me at the cafe on High Street. We need to talk. *, Oliver grabbed his coat, slipping into the crisp morning air as he made his way through the quiet streets of Ashby. The town was waking up, shopkeepers setting out their wares, the smell of fresh bread drifting from the bakery to the cafe. Tom was already seated, nursing a coffee and glancing around nervously. He slid an envelope across the table. "Found this tucked inside the party guest book," he said. "Looks like Harriet's handwriting again." Oliver unfolded the letter. It was a confession, but fragmented and cryptic, hinting at debts, lies, and a secret someone was desperate to keep buried. References to a past no one knew about, and a threat that if the truth came out, everything would burn. That Oliver's mind raced. What had Harriet been hiding? And who was willing to go to such lengths to keep it quiet? As they spoke in hushed tones, a shadow passed the cafe window, a figure watching, waiting. Oliver caught a glimpse of a familiar face before it disappeared into the crowd. His heart pounded. The game had changed. The past wasn't just a memory, it was a ticking time bomb. And Oliver was right in the middle of it.